Hello there, welcome to Athena Voices. We are reaching you live from Athena Center for Policy and Leadership, brought to you by Clear Path Media. My name is Annabelle Oji, and we are live. We'll go straight to our conversation for today. But first, okay, I was supposed to give you a quote, but let's rest it. I'll give you the quote later on. The People's Democratic Party is fighting on multiple fronts: internal cracks, coalition pressure, and what have you, and the looming 2027 showdown. As old wounds reopen and new alliances emerge, the question remains: can the PDP reinvent itself, or is the party headed for another implosion? Well, my guest on the show today is Comrade Gideon Obande, who is the former Ochetoha Doma of the Youth Wing, and he is also PDP member. We'll be talking about People's Democratic Party. Are they headed for implosion, or are they surviving? Comrade, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. Okay, so like I asked my first question. Okay, before I get to that first question, let's first of all go back, or look back into the 2023 and the 2023 elections. How much damage would you actually say that the 2023 elections did to the People's Democratic Party's, both the structure and the morale?
Well, 2023 elections was an election that every party aspired. For every election, it is expected that there will be victors at the end of the day. For those who were not satisfied with the outcome of the election, it was challenged in court by both the PDP, the Labour Party, who were the main persons in court. Reality is, at the end of the day, the court gave her verdict. And as lawyers will always say, as court pleases, the subject of political squabble was over. It was now time for governance. This is time for governance. And the PDP have moved away from the losses of 2023 into the realities of governance and possibly the future, which will be the next elections come 2027. That's the reality.
And so with all that you've stated, my question here is, how much did it affect the PDP structure itself and the people's morale?
We all knew build up to the election that after the primaries and the emergence of Atiku Abubakar, there were issues around the subject of who becomes vice president. Of course, the current FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, was interested. And the then Delta State governor was also interested, Senator Ifeanyi
Okowa. Okay.
But as it is, as I always say, it wasn't possible for everybody to go on the ticket. And so, constitutionally and otherwise, the presidential candidate has more as it comes to the decision of who becomes his running mate. Well, it favored Okowa. For one reason or the other, there were aggrieved persons on that decision. And the flag bearer, as at that time, I will say, was not able to manage this crisis properly. Because we're heading for an election. It would have been expected that aggrieved parties will be spoken with, some truce will be made so that there can be cohesion towards the election. But for one or two reasons, that didn't happen.
Who are you expecting? Who are the aggrieved parties that are supposed to be spoken
with? As at that time, the whole world knows we had 5 PDP governors who were not satisfied with the party's decision as it then was. The right thing to do was bring these people to table, have a conversation with them, onboard them on the decision of the party, and move on. Take it or leave it. There were stakeholders in the party, and they should have been spoken to. But for whatever reasons, either who was doing the speaking or the group that was doing the speaking did not properly manage it. And, the outcome was disastrous to the party.
Mm. All right. So because you talked about Wiki and you talked about the G5
Yes.
governors,
Yes.
we'll talk about that one later. But then what exactly is fueling the current wave of this in-house fracas in the PDP? What is the bone of contention?
I may not know from the time frame you peg the in-house crackers, because as I speak to you right now, there are no in-house crackers in PDP.
Comrade Obande?
Yes.
There are no in-house crackers in your party?
As I speak to you now, yes. I say that because those who were speaking on a loud pitch are the current coalition who are in ADC. So if they are in ADC, you can't refer to them as in-house members of PDP.
So the challenge you people are having is that you are saying that they've moved.
I am saying that the ulcer we had been treated.
What was the reason for that ulcer initially?
As I will always say, politics is interest. Interest, most times, if personalized, can result to heated disagreements that cannot be resolved. That's what we have. We were just finishing an election. Rather than concentrate on governance, play the role of opposition, people were already scheming for the next election. And so there was no time in between to engage the system and play the role of an opposition party in the system. And if you ask me, that was leading the party on the part of failing Nigerians. Because Nigerians were expecting that as an opposition party, they will play the role of helping redefine some steps taken by the current government in power. That Nigerians didn't see. Rather, people were interested in playing the power game of chess of 2027, just a few months after elections. That is what got to the party where the party is today.
I'll take you back to your words. You said the ulcer
Yes.
that was affecting the party
Yes.
has been cured, has been taken away.
Exactly.
Are you referring to Waziri that's left your party to the ADC? Are you referring to Atiku Abubakar that has left your party? Are you referring to other people that has left your party to the ADC? Are you saying that they are the ulcer that was affecting your party?
For everybody whose personal interest was the reason why he or she have left the party, the person is an ulcer.
Interesting.
Whoever had a personal interest that fueled his or her decision to leaving the party, the person is an ulcer. I say it, and I mean every word I've said. And I have no regrets or recourse for those words. If you left the party on the ground of your personal interest and not for the collective good of Nigerians, in quote, as it has been presented.
How do you define personal interest?
I define personal interest as a man who you have benefited from the benevolence of the party, and yet you do not think it means anything to abandon the same party. I'll be scared to say you will abandon Nigerians same way when you're given power. Antecedents plays a crucial role in the journey of deciding who becomes what and when. Consistency is a currency that matters politically. There is every need that at every time your personal interest, no matter how important you think it will be to the generality of the people, is a minority opinion, there is need for you at such times to play along with leadership.
So I will take you back to my question. Are you saying categorically that Atiku Abubakar is an ulcer?
And I will take you back to my answer that for as many persons that left on the premises of a personal interest, on the premises of wanting to run for elections in 2027, on the premises of wanting to become president of Nigeria, without giving considerations to whether Nigerians want you or not, on the premises of wanting to become president of Nigeria at all costs, I am saying such persons are ulcers to the party.
All right. That's coming from you.
Yes.
Comrade Obandi.
As a member of the PDP that has never left or decamped to any party.
So there's no
as a young man who should be aggrieved because these same persons have spoken to us so much about how important party loyalty is. We do not know whether their current actions is what loyalty is being defined as.
We'll come back to the coalition. There are quite a number of things we need to talk about the coalition. But then I would ask you, how united is the People's Democratic Party's national leadership ahead of 2027? Is it actually unity, or is unity a facade?
May I tell you, I am not in any of the organs of a party right now, but I'm in the most important organ of the party, which is the members, the membership of the party. We who are the members are the reason why the party is popular. As a member of the party, I am saying to you unequivocally that moving towards 2027 election, the party is ready. However, may I remind you that the current leadership of the party will not be leading the party to the next election. Because before the end of this year, I'm saying that, yes, I'm referring to that because constitutionally, by the party's constitution, there will be an election in the National Convention this year, and a new leadership will emerge. That new leadership will be leading the party to the next election. However, may I say unequivocally that there is no best when it comes to leadership. You can only use the language best when you stop having leaders. And so for now, I will tell you that the current leadership are doing their best. Their best. And I believe that they will continue to do their best. As for unity, I don't know what you define unity as, but I define unity as politically as being in agreement and remaining in one house. Even the tongue and the teeth that were created by God and housed in the same place often disagree. And that is why sometimes when you chew rather than food, it hits the tongue. But it heals. We must all imbibe the spirit of sportsmanship and know when to stop hitting, know when to stop pushing. That is what leadership is. It is part of leadership sometimes to stoop to conquer. It is part of leadership to know when to stop fighting.
So the People's Democratic Party before now was regarded as the biggest or the largest opposition party, but I don't even know if I should still call
the People's
call
Democratic
you that
Party
at the moment.
is still the largest party.
Comrade,
yes,
the PDP is still the largest party.
But yes,
with all that is happening. With this coalition, with most of your people now moving and jumping ship to the new wave, would you actually say, are they still, most Nigerians will ask, are they actually ready to lead again in come 2027, come November elections in Anambra State, or are they just busy battling internal demons?
May I remind you, I do not know sometimes, you people who are members of the fourth estate of the realm, you have a way of just crafting your perceptions.
This is not a perception.
It's a perception, it's a perception because when these are the indices to which you think a party is the largest or not, then I don't understand.
I'm not thinking, I'm asking.
Okay, I'm telling you that PDP is the largest party, yes, and I am saying there is no village in Nigeria that if you go to and you shout PDP and you will not hear power to the people.
Does that make any sense?
It does make a lot of sense. It means that the party is still relevant and popular. Democracy is a game of number. And you cannot discuss leadership, you cannot discuss victory without popularity. Go to somewhere and shout ADC and see if they know the slogan.
But if you go to somewhere else and shout APC, they will shout.
And I am saying that the context of largeness is to be contended by APC and no any other party, no individual. And I am saying that you can only juxtapose this when you bring data to bear. And I am still saying that PDP remains the party with the highest data coalition. I say that without mincing words because this was a party that existed in the pre-digital age before the digital time. At 1998, when this party was formed, the issue of storing information, computerization was still something new. And so it was manually done in most places. Okay? Now, this party was in power until digitization came to place and migrated from the pre-digital time to a digital era. And so I can beat my chest and tell you that we have organic data that shows our spread. No doubt, some of those members have migrated to other parties, including the APC. But I'm saying that the PDP remains the Gibraltar of Nigerian politics. And at any time, any day, we will tell you that we are the largest party because even oceans have tributaries. And I can say that any other political party in Nigeria today is a tributary of the PDP. Tell me a party and I'll tell you their leaders that were from PDP.
So this fight between, or this squabble between, or to gain 2027, is it between the ADC and the APC, or the ADC and Nigerians? Because it looks as though they've taken the PDP off the radar.
If you ask me, like a popular Nigerian sang, if you ask me who I go ask, you said you are forming a coalition. You have started a coalition. We don't even know where the coalition is. Because right in this party that is supposed to warehouse the coalition, there are disagreements.
There are also disagreements in your party.
Hello.
Same thing with the SDP,
Hello.
Same thing with the
We
APC.
are not in court. They are in court.
But you
do not, we are out, we are done. They are just starting.
Doesn't that look like tomato? Same difference?
No, it's not the same. We are moving on without a legal battle hanging. It's a clear strip. They have started with legal battles that you don't know when it will end. And so I can tell you that there are chances that by 2026, before the elections and all, if a verdict comes and says that the leadership now is not authentic, then so be it, as court pleases. Nigerians must be more tactical and understand that the PDP still remains the best alternative, if there must be a political move to oust the sitting government, which I will be quick to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, from all I see, the sitting government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not doing badly. For a very long time, we have not seen a government of integration that brought people from Labour, brought people from PDP, and integrated everybody in leadership. The last time we saw that was under, may so rest in peace, President Umar Musa Yar'Adua. It was the last that did that. Where you could witness it in the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The tax reform, Nel Fund, a policy we've always longed for. I went through university. I know young people like myself who could not continue because of finances. Those challenges have been eradicated.
Have you seen anybody who was a beneficiary?
I know people. I know more than 20 people who are beneficiaries of Nel Fund. I know personally who are beneficiaries, who don't know any politicians who went online to apply and got it. If this existed in my time, we would have had more graduates. But because it didn't exist, some people couldn't cope and they dropped out. Give it to Wike. You may not like him, but like his work. I can tell you that some places in Abuja, when you go out now, you can't recognize yourself. You can't recognize such places. Or you want to talk about the Minister of Interior, who, because of his intervention, now you can sit right in your home and under split second, you're almost done with your application for your international passport. And as in no time, you get your international passport. Our people overseas are no more struggling to come back home and do their passport because they can get it right there. What are you talking about?
So I would want to go back to our discussion on the coalition, but because you mentioned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government and how far it's been doing, let me take you back to what happened during the Benue State, the killings that happened in, I hate to use the word, the massacre that happened, but then the killings that happened in Benue State.
Yes.
Even up till tomorrow, most people are still arguing based on the fact that why exactly did the president visit Benue State and refuse to visit Yelwata, where all of this happened? So I'll bring that question to you. Do you see that as a challenge? Do you see that as a problem, especially when the helmsman visits every other part, and then most people say the red carpets were rolled, but then where the crux of the matter was, he didn't visit? Do you see that as a challenge?
I do not know what you mean by the crux of the matter here. Let me put it to you. Yelwata was on news. Yes. But before Yelwata, let me remind you that Agatu was also on the news. Apa was also on the news. Otukpo was also on the news. So is the president also supposed to have visited Agatu, visited Apa, visited Otukpo? Is that what you are saying?
I'm asking you. I'm not saying
I am saying that whoever is thinking that way is rather myopic and does not have a proper understanding of governance. Makurdi, where the president went to, is the state capital of Benue State. It is where every administrative decision about the state is taken. The advance team of the president, led by the secretary to the government of the federation, Senator George Akume, visited Yelwata. He was not there, George Akume, as SGF, was not there as George Akume. He was there as secretary to the government of the federation. Which government are we talking about? The government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he was there with as many appointees of government that traveled with him ahead to receive the president. What else are we talking about? That he physically did not go there, but sent a high-powered team to have gone there and still came to the state to attend to this issue. I am from Benue State. We are happy he came because I can tell you that before 2023, there have been a lot of massacre before 2023, and there was no visit of this magnitude. There was no national discussion of this magnitude. There was no time when all the service chiefs of Nigeria were assembled in Benue. 200 persons, they were assembled. Before now, 2015, Agatu killings, more than 500 people in one day. Surging the conflict ahead, thousands died, some missing, never to be found. Nigerians didn't hear about it. Rather, we came to Abuja here to protest in our numbers, and that was it all. Nobody, no security chief, not the president, said anything after that. Until date, Agatu is still being attacked. Till date, Apa is still being attacked. The difference is that the attack under this leadership has cut down. But it's not enough, because we hope that people should be able to depend on government to be safe. And we believe that one day, we'll overcome this as Nigerians.
Absolutely. One day we'll overcome this as Nigerians. Let's go on a quick break. And when we return from this break, we'll continue this conversation with Comrade Obande Gideon Obande. I'll see you later. Join us again.
Introducing Athena's suite of publications by the Athena Center for Policy and Leadership, a not-for-profit, non-partisan think tank operating at the junction of theory and practice. Athena Notes brings you timely from top academics and journalists. Athena Perspectives keeps you connected with the latest trends and developments in Nigeria and the West African sub-region. Policy Pulse delivers monthly analysis of policy trends with Athena Governance Insights. Dive deep into national challenges and policy solutions through data-driven research. Athena Third Tier spotlights local governance at the grassroots level and offering solutions to improve outcomes at the grassroots level. Subscribe to Athena Center for Policy and Leadership today.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Athena Voices, and we're reaching you live from Athena Center for Policy and Leadership, brought to you by Clear Path Media. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on quite a number of things, but then we'll still kickstart or go ahead with the conversation as we still have our guest, Comrade Obande Gideon Obande, who is the former Oshetohaki Doma of Youth Wing, and he is a PDP member. And we've been talking about the infractors, but he says there's no infractors, but then that's what we from this other side of the lens are seeing the matter as. All right, so now let's still go back to the opposition party. I know that you are a member of the PDP and you contested under the umbrella of the PDP
Yes.
in 2023 elections. So first, I'll ask you two questions and I'd like you to take them in one breath. First question is, are you still there for PDP regardless, no matter what? You're not shaking, you're not moving in the next coming days, weeks, months, years. We're not going to see your face or your picture change to another, maybe not ADC, probably another party. That's one on the side, because you talked about loyalty to the party, and then you called those who have left the party, you called them the ulcers, and then they've been cut out of the party. So are we going to see, are you going to become one ulcer in your party by the time you decide to leave?
Well,
That's one question. Then the second question is, do you think that the recent coalition talks, are they a sign of strength or desperation?
well, I will tell you this for free. As I am here speaking, I am a member of the PDP. As I am here speaking, I am not thinking of leaving the PDP.
But if you leave here not speaking again, what happens?
As I am here speaking, I believe that the PDP is coming back better and stronger. And I see myself as an integral part of that social engineering that will take the PDP to the next level.
And so what happens in the next
And
coming days?
Because I am an optimistic person, I refuse to have any thoughts of pessimism as long as this subject is concerned. However, I'm not thinking of running any elections anytime soon, except the people call on me. And if the people call, I will answer. Until then, I ran the last time, I didn't get it. I am not planning to run until the people call for me to run.
Comrade, you've not answered my question. You
Which is?
said, as you're here speaking, what happens in the next coming days? Does it mean that you might change your mind and decide to
I just
move?
told you that I am optimistic, that everything that will happen in the next coming days will be positive. And so I am a member of the PDP in the coming days.
So you're just saying that optimism. You're not telling us
I have
will be or not
refused.
be.
I have refused to think anything different from what I am saying. You know why? There's a Latin maxim that says "cogito ergo sum." I think, therefore I say. So what you see is what you think. Okay? And so I have refused to think anything pessimistic. I've refused to think of any possibility of leaving the PDP because my spirit, soul, and body is in the PDP.
My second question with regards to the coalition, do you see it as a sign of strength or desperation?
The coalition has two ingredients woven into one. We have desperate people there. And we're also going to have honest Nigerians who will think or believe that the coalition is a better place to express themselves politically. So you see, it's a mixture, a hybrid of these two. But I can tell you that the desperate ones are more.
So with most of the heavyweights of your party now cross-carpeting to other parties, do you actually think that this party, would you
They produced three presidents and two vice presidents. No, three vice presidents, okay? Of the three presidents, one is no more. May so rest in peace. But two are still there. And none of three vice presidents. Of the three vice presidents that were produced, which one became a president later? Only one of the three is in the coalition. Two of them are still in the party.
Well, nobody says that nothing will happen or change tomorrow.
We are talking right now. So if you want to pen it on the premises of those in that coalition, I will be bold to tell you that it is only less than 20% of those in the coalition that can be seen as members of the PDP.
Did you say
The
less than
rest,
20%?
I said not more than 20%. Because the rest have once upon a time been in PDP, left, came back and all. So it's been a trademark for them. So if you want to talk about the core PDP people, and when I say core, I mean people who were there from 99 have not shifted ground. There are less than 20% that went into the coalition. And when you want to talk prominence amongst these people, the prominent ones among those who defected that have never left PDP since 1999 till date, are just three. Prominent. Three. Distinguished Senator David Ali Chenumak, two-time Senate President. Since 99 is the first time he's exiting the party. Senator Gabriel Suswan, since 1999 is the first time he's exiting. And then the former Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, since 1999, now he's exiting. Call the rest. They are serial decampees.
Did you just call them serial decampees?
Serial decampees. How can you decamp 5 times? How can you decamp 5 times? How do they play small picking play?
That's from your mouth to those people. You call them serial decampees.
Serial decampees.
All right. So because you mentioned Wike and then you talked about how if you move across pocket of areas in Abuja, how the changes, the development and the advancement you find. Let's talk about Wike and then all that happened both during the 2023 elections, the post and pre, after the elections and during the elections. Would you actually say someone like Wike, is it a good or an impairment to the People's Democratic Party?
Wike is an asset to PDP. Wike, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike, is an asset to the PDP.
Even though they've accused him of alleged anti-party activity.
Who are those accusing him? Let them be the first to cast the stone if they have not done worse than Wike. Wike has never decamped from PDP. The people we are talking about, I say Syria decampees, they've left, gone, came back, and gone again. When you point a finger, 4 points back at you. You want me to tell you about Wike? The Wike we are talking about is a Wike that you denied vice presidential ticket, and he is still in the party. Apart from the presidential election, the party won every other election in his state.
So how do you
Can other people say so about their states?
So how do you address people who say that he's still in the party, but then he's like an impairment to the party?
How is he an impairment in the party? You want me to respond to people who were lobbying to also become ministers like Rufai, that were screened and did not pass security screening? In short, one day we'll call the DSS to come and tell us why they did not even allow him pass, so that we'll even understand this thing. Who do you want me to respond to? Or people that by virtue of the providence that they've had in time past can no more become what Wike is? I want you to remember, posterity will judge us all when we make utterances. Former Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, as Minister of FCT, look at what he's doing. 2023 elections we are talking about, he delivered the governor of the state, delivered all assembly members, delivered all House of Rep members, delivered 3 senators. Please, all the people that decamped, go to their state and give me results. Some of them even lost elections in their state. And you call them heavyweights. You don't know that in sciences, the size is not the weight. The weight is a component of mass particles compressed into one. Size, it can be big yet empty.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about lessons learned. What exactly are the lessons you would say that the People's Democratic Party has learned in terms of oppositions, all of the oppositions that has happened before now, years of oppositions? What lessons, if any, do you think your party has learned?
I will not speak for the party. I will speak for myself. I can't speak for the party, I'm not an ESCO, but I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
One of the lessons I've learned, and I will believe my party will move with this lesson to 2023 elections, is to understand that you don't build the party by depending only on names and titles. The people, the masses, are the strength of the party. And these are the people you should depend on. Because as I said ab initio, the only reason why Wike was able to deliver all seats for the PDP was because he was in touch with the people. The reason why other leaders lost seats in their states to other parties is because a lot of them were no more in touch with the people. It is important that my party, which I know that the current leadership will intensify efforts in, and the coming leadership will do more in that area, is, as our slogan is, restore power back to the people.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I'd like you to take them and bundle them in one breath. One, what role exactly are youth, like those in your organization or your former, where you were the former president, Chitohaki Doma, and other organizations? What role are the youths and also the women? What role are they playing in your party's resurgence, like most people would look at it as? That's first question. And then the second question is, how would you respond to critics who argue that the PDP is just recycling the same political players, while the young Nigerians are still demanding a generational shift?
I will start with the last question. Okay? I will not agree if you say the PDP. Okay? I will say that Nigerian political system is still undergoing recycling. The people who left now to go and form the coalition, are they not old people? As they share office, I talk this one for Pidgin. All the names where you hear, where hold a better office, not be all the names where they hear before. Or you want to talk about the APC? Is there anybody holding an office or the other in the APC that has not been in power before? But reality is, you see, nature has a way of answering some questions. In the next 10 years, whether they like it or yes, some of them will not be there again. You know, I mean, I'm a Christian. It's only biblical that old people will go and leave space for younger ones. Add 10 years to the age of many, and there will no more be there. So nature has a way of answering some of these questions. But when you talk recycling, it's not just PDP, the APC, the ADC that has not started. I use that word has not started because until they have a leadership and they are sure that this is leadership, then they have started.
What do you mean by they have leadership? You just talked about David Mark.
I just told you that there are people in the former leadership, in quote, that said they are not aware that they've been transition of power. And those are the persons who have gathered themselves to court. And if every party has a constitution and they said that their constitution was not followed, then they should be given a voice. They should be listened to. Don't you think so? The only reason why I and you are sitting here is because there's something called Freedom of Information Bill that allows you to run what you are running. True of us. Their party has a constitution. Was it followed? It's not my business, though. It's theirs. They are in court. The court will tell them whether it's being followed or not.
So back to my first question with regards to...
The youth are doing their best in the party. The women are trying. Take it or leave it. The PDP government entrenched the 35% affirmative action of women. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in his time did very well. When you talk about empowerment of women, the PDP did well. And the PDP is still doing well and will continue to do well.
Even as we begin to round off, in the face of APC's dominance, what realistic path exists for the People's Democratic Party to regain power in 2027?
Well, I will tell you that when you say APC dominance,
the ruling party I'm talking about,
it is normal in Nigeria that when a certain party is in power and the party decides to start working, you should know that there may be possibilities of stretching a bit. Comparing,
what do you mean by
2023? Stretching a bit is what I'm trying to break down here. 2023 till date, and then 2023 back to 2015. The only things Nigerians and people like me may be singing on the street is that if we don't increase, this one done this, that one done that. Okay? But truth is that would have remained there, and one day what would have happened would have been a bigger explosion than this. So what the current president simply did was diffuse the bomb so that it will not blow. That way there will be lesser collateral damage. Now, with the way Mr. President is going, he may become too powerful for opposition, since rather than gather themselves together, they are splitting themselves. The APC that took over from PDP was an amalgamation of 3 parties or more. But prominent among this coalition then was ACN, CPC, and AMPP. These were strong parties, popular parties, all coming together, and not forgetting the mass exodus of PDP governors and senators and rep members into them. So of course, they became formidable. But as we speak in the current coalition, can you say that? Not even a governor has joined the current coalition. So how do you measure their strength and presence?
Let me answer just the same way other guest I had a few days ago. That's the spokesperson of the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, said there's still cannot give that as a full decision. Anything can happen tomorrow.
Okay, please let me send you to Bolaji Abdullahi.
No, don't send me to this.
Let me tell him and Nigerians that when you spend all the time you should use in building, scratching the surface, the building will collapse on you and you may not be alive to scratch more. If they want to build, they should build. If they need to build, they should join the PDP to build. because the PDP remains the most valuable opposition as we speak, and there is nothing anybody can do about it.
I'll take you back to a video that we have where we had the Ovation magazine chairman in the person of Dele Momodu, what he said about Wiki and some monies that were spent on delegate. Let's let my producer play that video and then we'll come back to this.
I realized that he had presidential ambition. And I also had presidential ambition. Wiki cannot take competition with anybody. So I now wrote a letter to him that my biggest asset is my access to the high and mighty and also the ordinary citizens of Nigeria. Everywhere I go, I meet them. And I told him that in the north of Nigeria, you know something, Wiki has a pathological hatred for the northerners because of whatever, I don't know. So I told him, I said, it's going to be difficult for him to get the ticket of the PDP. And I wanted to announce to him that in case he decides not to run, he should support me. From that moment, he got angry. But what I said came true. A former president of Nigeria sent someone to me, someone very, very top, that they should tell me not to waste my money on the PDP primary, that Wiki had raised the stakes to $30,000 per delegate, 30,000 times 774 delegates. Of course, if you were to sell my family from first generation to the last generation, there was no way I was going to come up with that. And even if I could come up with that, I will never waste it. So you could hear Wiki saying on your program, just before the primaries, on your program, when you asked him, so what do you think about the new entrants like Dele Momodu, and he just with who is Dele Momodu? That was where our trouble started. What I expected of him was that if you're not going to support a man, if you are going to run a fair race, and then let's leave it there. I wrote a letter and I copied the former Attorney General. Yes?
Let me ask you.
All right, Comrade Obande, how would you respond to that interview session taken and what Dele Momodu had said?
You see, I hate to respond to elders. The politics has made it that you must respond. Let me tell you this for free. Dele Momodu said he was contesting president. From what he said, I'm only hearing it too. You know, in this area of digital and graphical things that anybody can design anything. When some of us saw the posters only on Facebook and other social media, we didn't know he was serious. I'm just discovering that he was serious then.
What do you mean by he was serious then?
It's now I'm seeing the seriousness.
Do people contest for such office without?
I am saying that when you contest such offices, you move from state to state to consult people. I'm from Benue State.
And you were not
as at the time he was, let me tell you, at the time he was contesting election, I was in government in Benue State. So if he had visited Benue State to consult with delegates as other presidential candidates did, I would have known that he was contesting.
So the challenge is because you were not.
The challenge is not that I was not consulted, it was that you were contesting election from your bedroom while others were in the field. I said, when you contest presidency, you travel because it is Nigeria that is voting for you, not your village people. And you sit in the comfort of your room, and because you have access to social media and anything, you say you are contesting election. Is that how to contest election? He did not visit Benue State. Benue have delegates. He is in the southwest. So if he could not come to Benue that is close to the southwest, he cannot go to Kano. Because Kano is even farther. Except maybe he goes to go and cover one program for his Ovation magazine and uses one stone to kill two birds. And I will tell you for free that he will not meet with delegates. He has already said it that I was not ready to waste money. And when you go to see delegates, you don't go to speak English. You give them transport to go because they came from villages.
So
he didn't have the transport. That's why he sat in his room. I was looking for who will come and support him. When you go out, people support you. When you sit down, nobody comes.
So response to the $30 billion he talked about that was given by him.
Well, if he had brought a document to substantiate his claim, I'll be responding. As far as I'm concerned now, it's just a hearsay. He should bring a document to substantiate that claim. Then we can take it from there.
So it actually means, because he is also a member of your party. So it
member? Was he a delegate?
Comrade Obande,
was he a delegate?
He is a member.
Was he a delegate? I'm a member of the party. I was not a delegate. So I cannot start talking about who gave to who. So was he a delegate?
Let's leave the delegate part.
So whatever he's talking about now, somebody told him that this was what we were given. And he's now using it to make calculations. And because he's not a politician but a journalist, look at how he said it. He said times 700 and something, because it is 1 per local government. Okay? So he just multiplied by the total local government. Meanwhile, in politics, that is not how the mathematics is done. Politically, you spend more in areas where you have less strength and spend less in areas that you have more strength. So from that simple mathematical calculation in his mind, I thought he did a journalist calculation.
Comrade Obande, I'll take you back again. Let's leave the part that he was a
You talked about the money. I have answered you that you are not showing me paper to prove that money was spent. It's hearsay. You heard from Dele Momodu that was what was spent. I am telling you that is not what was spent.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, let's leave the part that he's a delegate. We're talking about a PDP member. We're also talking about Wike, who is a PDP member. We're talking about you, who is a PDP member. But
correction. At the time Dele Momodu spoke, or for whatever scenario he's responding to here, he is talking about Dele Momodu, who is a member of the PDP, talking about a presidential candidate of the PDP. They are not the same. The presidential candidate of the PDP is not the same. Let me tell you something about my party. When they are calling for net meetings and co, they will say governorship aspirant. Are you with me? Now, a sitting governor of the PDP attends that meeting. Somebody who bore the flag of the party and lost also attends the meeting. You know what that tells you? They are saying that if all things were the same, you were supposed to be a governor. You are not an ordinary member. So we are talking about the presidential aspirant, and then we are talking about a normal member like me.
Comrade Obande, we need to close, but I will take you back again.
Please.
You have not.
Dele Momodu, try and go back to Ovation. Nigerians are missing entertainment because you have stopped Ovation and gone into politics. Concentrate more on Ovation so that you can tell the world more about the Nigerian entertainment industry.
That's a member of your party you're talking to.
Yes, I'm helping him redirect his steps. That was what he was known for. His today popularity that he wants to galvanize into a political popularity was because of that. I'm redirecting him. If he sat there quietly doing his job, who knows? He would have been the Minister of Information to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he would have been contributing now, but because he left his assignment and went for another man's assignment, now we Ovation, we no see. Minister of Information, it no be. Advice on Information, it no be. He should go back to Ovation.
He wants to be a president and not a minister of communication.
There's one thing to want, and there is another for you to be qualified to become. He's qualified, he wants, but unfortunately, he's not popular enough to be. So if I am him, I'll go back, face Ovation, become Minister of Information, or better still, let me give him a smaller advice. This next election, he should go and contest governor in his state. He'll be more popular there, not in Nigeria.
We need to round off. But again, I'll remind you that we're talking about a member of your party, and if you say fracas, it means that if you are throwing stone at a member of my party, I should stand guard.
You see, that is why I said those of you in the fourth estate of the realm have a way of carving things.
I'm not carving things.
A younger party member have told an elder what the elder should have told me. This elder is supposed to be telling me that, one day you're supposed to concentrate on, if this is your calling, concentrate on your calling. Now he left his calling and came into another man's calling. I'm reminding him that the originality of the Dele Momodu we know was ovation. You may
All right. I need you to round off in your.
So, as I said, you see, as an elder, he is supposed to know when to retrace his steps, okay? The name Dele Momodu is synonymous to Ovation magazine. You will agree with me that since his vested interest went into politics, Ovation magazine, we know they hear him again. I'm saying so that a common man will understand what I'm talking about. The name Nyesom Wike is synonymous to politics. Even though there is a barrister in front of his name, if he enters the court, people may run because they don't know him to be in the court. His calling is in politics, he is there. Dele Momodu should go back to his calling, journalism, particularly entertainment journalism. Should go back there. We need him more there. The place is suffering. His vacuum cannot be filled.
Comrade Abandi, that looks like an indirect shade on the personality.
It is not a shade. As I said, the problem of you just try to make issue when there is no issue. Or this fourth estate of the Ren people, you are coining it now that is a direction. It is not a shade. As an elder, you see, Yoruba people have plenty adages. You understand? But as an elder, his duty is supposed to be teach us, the younger ones who are in the party, how to follow our dreams. God gave him a good dream. The dream brought him to limelight. He abandoned the dream.
Okay, so we need to go. But before we go, I remind you that the Nyesom Wike you talked about being a barrister is a life venture. So
that is why I am trying to tell you. No, get my point. It's a life venture. Now, I am trying to tell you that even as a life venture, do you have any picture of Nyesom Wike in court? Please show me. But you will see his picture in plenty political rallies, in plenty offices. Office as chairman, office as Argon chairman, office as Minister of State of Education, office as Minister of FCT. Dele Momodu should go back to Ovation. We need Ovation.
Comrade Obande, Gideon Obande, former President Oche Tohaki Doma and PDP member. Thank you so much for your time with us.
You're welcome.
All right, viewers, that's where we end this conversation for today. But before we go, I'll take my quote, as always, from Ronald Reagan, who was a politician and the 42nd president of the United States of America. He said, and quote, "A political party cannot be all things to all people. It must represent certain fundamental beliefs which must not be compromised to political expediency or simply to swell its numbers." That's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure hosting these conversations today. Remember that we are still on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Twitter. Remember to also leave us your comment, but leave them respectfully, and also turn on your notifications so that whenever we're live, you definitely will be live. I'll see you again next time. My name is Annabelle Oji, and it has been an absolute pleasure hosting this conversation this evening. Good evening, Nigerians. God bless you and yours. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.